Good afternoon, good evening, or good morning, depending on where you are in the world. Would like to present to you two articles of interest. And before I do that, I would like to let you know that this is for review, informational, and educational purposes. It is not to take the credit for the intellectual property of the article. The full credit to the intellectual property of the article goes to the publisher, which in this case is T3, and the story by Britta O'Boyle. Excuse me. Headline reads, London to New York in under an hour, new Hyperloop plans surface. Ahead of you see a picture of the backdrop and an artist's rendition of what this Hyperloop would look like with the train. Caption reads, London, New York under an hour, new Hyperloop plans surface. Copyright Sergei Lernomenko / Science Photo Library / Getty Images. Now to the article itself. Even the idea of getting a train between London and New York is difficult to imagine, but it seems that there is a chance one day it could be a reality. That if someone somewhere is willing to cough up the 15.5 trillion pounds. Okay, so that's quite excessive. It has been estimated to cost. Oh, and someone somewhere has to need to be able to come up with a viable design too. Well, don't worry, Elon Musk will probably come up with it. Just my guess, just my opinion. But as for now, for a company to do it, there has to be some profitability to it. And the question is it going to be profitable? Who knows? It is possible that both countries would pay for maybe part of it, and then you'd have investors. That's also possible. There's many ways to make this work, but the question is, and in my view, the question is it worth paying that much for the Hyperloop? But let's continue on. It is not the first time we've heard the transatlantic tunnel proposal, but the idea of connecting UK and the US via a tube underneath the Atlantic Ocean has resurfaced under new developments in Indian transportation. Indian? What does Indian have to do with it? How would a transatlantic tunnel even work? Newsweek reports the latest developments in the vacuum tube technology has made the concept more viable. Unquote. The report explains that pressurized vehicles could theoretically travel through a vacuum in speeds greater than 3,000 miles per hour. Wow. That's some craziness. The speeds would be achieved thanks to the lack of air resistance in the tunnel, and trials of the technology somewhere referred to as a Hyperloop are underway in India and China. There are plans to eventually employ it commercially under the countries and circumstances, but bringing it to a tunnel under the Atlantic would be very different kettle of fish, as the expression goes. Still, if achieved, the speeds would make the journey time between London and New York, which is around 3,000 miles, around an hour. Given a flight between New York, that is London and New York, is currently around 8 hours? How is it 8 hours? It's like 4 or 5 hours by plane. That must be a typo. 8 hours would be like, for example, Moscow to New York. That's 8 hours. But anyway, that's what the author says. It seems crazy to think that one day I might be able to get to New York quicker than some people within the M25 can get to the central location. And here's the other thing is it can't be 8 hours because of the speed of the airplane. And the speed of the airplane on average at cruising speed is about 500 miles per hour and it's 3,000 miles. Well, it's not 6 hours. And I don't even think it's actually 3,000 miles. I believe it's 2,000 miles, but I believe it's 4 to 5 hours, not actually 6. But even then, it would be 6 and not 8. So in a related video entitled "Imagine Hyperloops became real" as per Video Elephant Video. And this video will be available upon publishing of this review, but not before, as YouTube does not allow links to the articles in the comments section. So instead, what I'll do is in the comment section in YouTube, I'll put the name of my Rumble channel and the link to my Rumble channel, and this will be front-loaded at the top of the list to show this particular article review, and you'll be able to watch it. That is, of course, you would have to, once you get the link, copy and paste it into the URL bar, and then you'll be able to watch it as normal. Trouble is, it's according to the author, trouble is, it's not likely to be in our lifetime. A design would still need to be approved with the same current proposal suggesting a tunnel underneath the ocean floor, while others have suggested building on stilts. Excuse me, guys. Newsweek even said it's one idea is to making the tunnel float. And when the design is approved, the budget then needs to be agreed upon, and it will take years to build. So yeah, that will take some time. The Channel Tunnel between UK and France took 6 years, and it's only 23.5 miles. As Newsweek pointed out, the transatlantic tunnel was built on the same speed, and it would take 782 years. Still, to think one day you'll be able to hop across the pond train in an hour is absolutely wild. The question is, why do you want to make a tunnel to London? What is the point? Is there something special about going to London? I don't know. For example, why not go to, for example, France, or Berlin, or I don't know, Switzerland? See what I'm saying? Why London? I don't know. Maybe because London's the closest place from there, but I don't know. You guys will have to come to a conclusion about this, what you think the significance is. So with that said, let's go to our second and final article of the review. I would like to let you know that, as usual, this is for review, informational, and educational purposes. It is not to take the credit for the intellectual property of the article. The full credit to the intellectual property of the article goes to the publisher, which is Interesting Engineering, and story by Armin Tripathi. The headline reads, Uranium extracted from seawater using candle wax is a breakthrough method. Ahead of you is a picture of such thing. Caption reads, Uranium extracted from seawater using candle wax in a breakthrough. So apparently there's uranium in the bottom of the sea. Yes, ocean. Was not aware of that, but I guess I do now. Now to the article itself. Scientists in China have achieved a breakthrough in nuclear energy. They developed a new method for extracting uranium from seawater using a surprising ingredient, candle wax. The innovation has the potential to revolutionize the nuclear power industry by unlocking a virtually limitless source of fuel. Well, actually, it is not limitless. It just seems to be limitless because it has nuclear power is much more powerful than other forms of electricity that we know of, and especially that I know of. Nuclear power plants rely on uranium to generate electricity. However, scientists estimate that the current land-based uranium reserves, which equals 7.6 million tons, can only sustain nuclear energy demand for about a century. Quote, extracting uranium from the ocean is considered a promising solution for meeting nuclear fuel consumption, suggested a new study. Oceans hold vast uranium reserves. The oceans hold approximately 4.5 billion tons of uranium. That's about 1,000 times more than what's found on land, SCMP reported. This immense reserve could potentially power the world for over a millennium, offering a sustainable solution to the growing demand for clean energy. However, extracting uranium from the seawater presents a significant challenge. Uranium is present in very low concentrations in the ocean, making it difficult to isolate efficiently. A team of researchers at the Dalian Institute of Chemical Physics in China has developed a novel and cost-effective method to extract uranium from seawater. Their method, published in the journal Advanced Functional Materials, involves creating special absorbent beads using readily available materials including candle wax. The team's innovative approach involves dissolving polyamdioxamine, a material for its high affinity for metals and water, and then mixing it with melted candle wax. Excuse me. Quote, to date, porous absorbents fabricated in polyamdioxam, or PAO, particularly macroporous PAO hydrogels, have demonstrated exceptional potential for uranium captured from natural seawater, asserted the researchers. After cooling and removing the wax, the remaining material ground on the porous hydrogel particles described as having a, quote, distinctive cheese-like morphology, unquote. These particles are then encapsulated in alginate polyacrylic acid, forming highly absorbent spheres approximately 3 millimeters in diameter. Additionally, the beads, quote, show good reusability in the 31.2% reduction in uranium absorption capacity after 5 consecutive absorption and desorption cycles, stated the study. Excuse me. High uranium extraction efficiency. The researchers test their beads in both real and simulated seawater environments with remarkable results. Quote, a high absorption capacity of 4.79 milligrams of uranium per gram of beads from 10 liters of coastal seawater within 15 days is achieved, highlighted the study. The figure increased to 8.23 milligrams of uranium per gram in beads and simulated seawater. The team also tested the beads in uranium-spiked water. After 10 days, the beads demonstrated an extraction efficiency between 95.9 and 99.5%. While extraction uranium from seawater has long been a challenge due to its extremely low concentration, this new method, using highly absorbent materials and a common household item, could finally be a viable reality. Quote, these obtained results comprehensively demonstrate the significant potential of the fabricated beads for uranium capture from natural seawater, unquote, concluded the researchers. So what do you think of this article here? What do you think of that? So I'd like to ask you a question before I conclude this review. I'd like to ask a question to the viewers here. Of these two articles, the first one namely being New York to London in under an hour, new Hyperloop plans surface. Second one being uranium extracted from seawater using candle wax and breakthrough method. What do you think of these two articles? Are they interesting? Are they relevant to your life? And do they give enough information for you to have a clear picture of what's going on? You're welcome to give your opinion in the comments below. Just keep in mind, we want to keep the comments to be relevant, and we want to keep comments to be civil, as we're only trying to add something positive to this experience. Okay, so please don't spam things, don't put advertisements for things or your channel or anything, because if you do, I'm going to ban you. So we need to keep this civil, because that is a reasonable expectation in terms of that. But in contrast to that, if you do have an opinion about this, and it is a constructive criticism or constructive idea, I'd be interested to hear it. But please make sure that it's just that, and not just say something but you don't have any explanation for it. Okay, as otherwise there's no use to it. Okay, remember, our purpose is to add something constructive to the conversation and not deconstructive. All right, with that out of the way, I'd like to thank you for taking the time to watch this video. You could be watching any other science and technology and current events news video, but you watched mine, so I greatly appreciate it. So, if you haven't already, please click the like button. That way I'll be pushing the algorithm and more people will be able to view it and enjoy it. In addition to that, if you haven't already, please click the subscribe button. That way I'll have access to all the content on this channel, as I certainly do have a variety of content on this channel for you to view and enjoy. Everywhere from news, gaming reviews, even reviews of courses, etc. And I do have a variety of videos that might interest you, so go ahead and watch those, enjoy, and get the benefit from them. Also, if you haven't already, please click the bell button. That way I'll be notified of all my future videos. That way when a new video comes out, you'll be notified accordingly, so you won't miss any of them. So I'd like to wish you a great day wherever you are in the world.